to Goodrick Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV, Upper Mississippi River Valley, and we've had some interesting developments since last episode, even though we haven't moved the time forward quite as far as I'd like. First off, we got tired of dealing with the snow. We got snowed in again since the last episode, and as many of you pointed out in the comments, it was very painful going through trying to plow the snow with the plow. So we've upgraded the 8410 to have a front loader. We popped the duals off, and we've got a box blade for a snow plow on the front, which actually works pretty good for pushing snow out of the way. And then we've got this snow blower going. Let me get hooked up here. We've got to rotate this around. I don't want to be breaking any windows as we come through here. And obviously the snowblower is working amazing for getting this snow out of the way. Unfortunately, it doesn't always get the snow out of the triggers and such. We've had a little bit of problems clearing a few areas, but for the most part, it seems to be working all right. I've got to hop out here and get this semi out of the way. Now, what we've had going on here off camera, you can see we've got a pile of money now. We're up to $9.5 million. And that's after purchasing the handful of things we needed for our snow removal equipment, which honestly wasn't that expensive. But what I have found is that we ran out of food. And I don't know how that's possible, but our silage has gone so fast. And this is the area that I was talking about where the snowplow was not able to handle the little bit of drifts and stuff here. So I've got, I'm going to get hung up on this. I can't believe I'm getting stuck on this little bits of snow. Me and snow, not so much having a good time on this map so far. I know it's a fun natural occurrence, but the mechanics have been wanting here for sure. So I'm going to just pull forward a bit here, and we'll see if we can do a better job of cleaning this stuff up on the next pass through here. However, let's bring up some stats here so I can talk about it while I'm doing some snow plowing. And we look here, you can see that we're running low on feed here in a few of our bins. This one's still half full, or our bins, our pens. This one's almost out. I don't have enough to move forward another day in this particular barn. We're down to 155. This barn's not eating that much, but this one's got about a day left. And we're only in the 3rd of February here, so I haven't even made it to March. And if we take a quick look at our production chain buildings, the two silos next to me are both empty. We're probably going to sell those off. I didn't like how that ended up working out, but we are 100% out of silage and TMR here. The hay's holding up pretty good. In fact, if we just head over there real quick, you can see we've still got quite a few bales of hay in this shed here. I'm going to pull this up. We've got 201 out of the 448 that it holds, it looks like. So I'm not worried about hay at all. In fact, we're going to be able to start mowing again soon, and that hay will start stacking up. So I think that this huge hay field out there is going to end up being overkill for us. We're going to need more corn. And we'll jump back in the snowplow here while we talk about our woes, but we planted so much corn this season that I thought sure we were going to be good. I mean, we had to put in 2 additional harvesters to hold all of that silage, and it turns out we're nowhere near enough food to last for a whole year. We would need to, quadruple, if not more, our corn silage for the year to be able to handle things appropriately. And that's just insane to me that we need that much food. I know we're playing with the enhanced animal mod, and that's why we've got more going on here than we need. But I just, I don't know. That mod doesn't seem, well, I don't know. I'd have to do the math, but it doesn't seem very realistic to me. That's a lot of feed for the handful of cows that we've got right now. to not be able to last the winter here. What do I know? I've not really been a dairy farmer in any of my past lives. I did work on a dairy farm a little bit, not a lot, so I'm not an expert. And I'm just constantly surprised by the stats on stuff in this series here. Why am I not? Yeah, I can't push the snow at all with either the box blade or the snowplow when you're in these zones. I'm just making sure I've got it lowered to the ground here, and yeah, no luck whatsoever. That's going to be very unfortunate for us. So we'll just ignore that and get back to the parts that matter. So despite all of our woes, we're going to be able to continue to make food. We're just going to start buying TMR, which is what I did last year. And it's a little bit cheesy, but we're going to go ahead and have them just deliver the TMR straight into our harvest stores. I am going to buy it, though. I'm not going to cheat and just give myself the feed. We are going to purchase the bales and let them get inputted here into the harvest stores. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to get the snow cleared out around our harvest store real quick. And then that will let us start buying bales and get the mixing wagons moving again. This snowblower works amazing. This tractor actually is handy to have it sitting in the shed there without another job to do during the winter here. Makes a perfect snow tractor for us. So no complaints whatsoever about being able to reuse a machine here on the farm for another purpose. And I'm trying just to get some of the pile out of the road here that we plowed up, just so I can kind of get around on the farm, have a little bit more room to turn and move around some of this equipment as it gets locked up at the harvest store waiting to fill with feed and things like that. We've had no room in the yard to move around with all the snow everywhere and having just barely cleared paths before. I have to say I would have never expected to have multiple episodes involving snow removal on UMRV, but I figured it was worth the extension of our snow removal woes to show you guys what's going on and keep everybody in the loop with our feed issues here on the farm. What we're going to do, I think, is hop out and move this equipment up out of the way. Maybe I can park it up on the spot in the road that we just cleared. Don't need to be too fancy with it. I just want to get it out of the way briefly while we clear this area around the harvest store, and we'll get this first load of silage bales bought as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here, and this is our trick. We're going to use the store delivery mod. I've got to get backed up here, though. I think if I just put it right there, and then we buy some bales, which is under this menu, silage bales, go for the full stack of 8. It's only $19,000. And then they do look like they're stacking in a little bit to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back this way a little bit. There we go. Feeling pretty good about that. And I'm going to buy a second stack just to see where they fall. There we go. That's a little bit more centered. And if I look here at our building storage, we didn't fill it up, obviously, but 105 cubic yards. And I thought I had this switched to tons. I can switch that to tons like that now. I figured out how to do that finally. So 40 tons of silage to our 27 tons of hay. It's interesting how the hay, even though I've got more of it from a volume perspective, weighs so much less than the silage. Makes total sense. These numbers, though, obviously are in liters still, but if you just think of it as 250 parts hay to 750 parts of silage, either way, we're making TMR again, so it makes sense for us to kind of get that cooking while we're doing all this cleanup. And I am going to bump the time up a little bit in just a second here. I wanted to get a load of feed moving here for one of the barns, so I don't want the time to be going really fast. While I'm not paying attention, I get distracted when we start doing jobs like snow removal, and next thing you know, a whole day has gone by. So I'm trying my best to balance all the things and make sure we don't have a bunch of cows go unfed, especially now that they are making milk on a regular basis. I want to make sure that we're getting all of that milk and not losing out on any of our hard-earned profits. We've spent all of this time and energy trying to make sure that we can make this money. We've invested tons of money getting to this point. It only makes sense now that we're finally getting milk out of multiple barns to maximize those profits. I'm not paying too much attention to where we're blowing this snow, just because it doesn't really matter when you've got it up in the air like this. It's just going to more or less disappear, get spread out across a wide area. I could be piling it up on the ground, but then we'd be sitting here doing snow removal again for hours on end. So I kind of like that there's an option like this to just make it go away, so to speak. It works out quite well for us. And here we go. We've got the bulk of the area around the harvest store all cleaned up, and this is going to let us get those tractors moving again on some kind of an automated path once we have TMR for them to feed. And so I think what I'd like to do at this point is I'm going to finish this pass, but we're going to crank the time up and get a couple loads of TMR going. And I'm going to set the workers back up on their automated paths for delivering the feed to the right barns. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some more snow removal while that's all happening here. So hold on for just a second here. We'll get everything switched out and set up, and then we can get things moving again. Maybe what we'll do, I'm going to park this tractor over here. I think it's going to be out of the way, so to speak, right over here. And then we're going to get the auto drive drivers moving, even though we don't quite have the TMR just yet. In fact, I could probably up my speed to, say, 60 while I'm doing this. And let me take a look back at the animal list. We've got... oh man, I can't remember if this is barn C down here at the bottom. It looks like it because it's producing milk. So let me go ahead and start this driver off. He'll swing around here real quick. And then it was barn B is the other one that's short on food. So I'm going to set this guy up on barn B. And it should be a pretty quick process here. I probably should have set this guy up on C, though, now that I think about it. That's why he was on C, is it's a little bit easier of a drive for him to sneak in there. And I'm going to grab this guy. We're going to put this to barn B, like so. And I just realized I think I turned off this. Oops. Yeah, I did activate. We weren't making TMR because I turned it off, so it wasn't costing us money while we didn't have any materials in there. Oh, my bad. Well, there we go. And I won't bore you guys, with buying all of the silage here that we're going to do. I'm going to have to sit here and do this process a number of times so that we can get this all filled up and get things moving. So stay tuned. I'll be back after we get the silage filled up. All right, I got a half a load going in each of the feed mixers just to start things off. And I think my plan is going to be to sit here and buy a handful of bales, and then plow a few feet, buy a handful of bales, etc., etc. You can imagine the fun we're about to have here on the farm. So we'll save y'all the pain and agony of me bouncing back and forth like this for the next half hour or so, and we'll catch up with you when we're able to move the time forward as I'd originally planned. We're in this guy's way already, though, so I'm gonna try and keep up with everything. We'll see. We'll see if anything crazy happens. I'll be sure to check back in with y'all. So we are back. It's still February, and we've finally ran out of hay. So I've hooked up the trailer, which we had full of hay, and we just backed into this barn for safekeeping while we did our snow removal. And we're going to go ahead and get this brought up here so we can keep the TMR production going. As you can see, all of our mixer wagons are backed up here at the harvest store and waiting. Much as I expected, I got so wrapped up in our snow removal process that I forgot to check in on all the other things that need to happen. So we're here now, and if we just look up, we're fully out of hay here, so we're moving the clock forward faster than I'd like. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing into the transporting position and drop off the stacks here. Should go nice and fast. And then we just rinse, repeat. Awesome. That one load of hay is going to be enough to keep things moving for quite some time. However, I think it's going to make sense to go ahead and get another load. And as you can see, we've continued to get snow throughout February here. Not unrealistic. It's just I'm so done with the snow. Actually, it's snowing outside in real life here in southern Michigan as well, so I'm not too happy about snow in the middle of March. I thought the official first day of spring was supposed to be somewhere around here. However, we're still struggling through this snow, both in real life and a farm sim, it seems, so we're going to just keep trucking here. We should be getting close, though. We're almost into March, which I think is when stuff is supposed to start melting in Farm Sim. This snow is unwieldy. We might have to bring the snowblower over here as well, just to make this a little bit easier on us. But I think if I get myself lined up here and put us into operating position, when we go ahead and unload the bales, we should load them right up. I think we can do 30 at a time on this trailer. Probably would have been quicker to go backwards than forwards on this counter, but that's all right. Spawn out some bales. Requested bales were spawned, and almost got all of them in the one haul. There we go, looking good. We'll go ahead and get these up to the harvest store here as well, and I'm gonna just keep buying those silage bales and keeping everything going. As you can see, we've widened out our paths for the semis to be hauling slurry and such through here. Really everything except that little bit we've got plowed up pretty good around the farm, at least for the stuff that we need to do here in the winter. And yeah, we're making it work. Well, folks, we finally made it into March here, and we've had all of our snow melt over the course of the day. These lovely 45-degree temperatures are doing us good, and so I'm just moving a little bit of hay around on the farm here. We've got to get a bunch of this up into the harvest store there. We've been making feed like crazy over the winter, and I'm excited to finally be into spring, because now that it's March, we're going to have a lot more to do on the farm. I don't think the hay is going to be ready to cut until April, though. But we're going to do a cutting of hay on that big field, and then we're going to try and put some corn into it for silage. I think that's going to work out for us. We're not particularly caring about the typical growth cycle. Oops, we're bumping into that trailer a little bit before our silage corn, because we don't need it to grow as long. We can chop it while it's still in that green stage. So even if we get out in the fields a little bit later than we normally would, I think we'll be good. Although I think that April should be plenty early, even if we were planting normal corn. Usually in April, things can still be a little bit wet, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to try and get this all set up here. I found if I line myself up with the driveway here for the other barn, I can get this done in 2 perfect passes, which is always nice. Trying to get everything running efficiently here. We've been doing enough of this feed where it doesn't make sense to struggle with anything. We want this to go as fast as humanly possible here. So with this job out of the way, we should have plenty of hay in the harvester to last us quite some time. So I'm going to park this right over here. I think we are going to need our haying equipment at some point sooner than later. But let's check in on everything now that winter has passed. We're waiting on some feed to get made, it looks like. I'm going to do this from the menus, I think. If we start here on Barn C, you can see I've slowly been catching up on our feed buffer, which is great. We've been staying ahead of the slurry situation. Feed buffer's nice and high on Barn A here as well. And Barn B, not as much. We're about half, but I've got enough to move forward for a couple of days, which means I no longer have to babysit it as much. I know that if the clock moves forward a day when I'm not paying attention, we're going to be good to go here on all of our barns. And then, like I said, we've got plenty of hay now in here, and our silage is all topped off. We're essentially full. I think it holds 495 tons, but the drivers are waiting for us to make some more TMR. We've got things paused at the moment, though. We're slowing way down to halftime just so that we can kind of take stock of things on the farm here. And as you can see, we've got quite a bit of slurry backed up in these two tankers. That's perfect, though. They're doing their jobs. And if we take a quick look at the crop calendar, we are indeed in area to plant various crops, but corn is where it's at. We need to get a ton of corn planted for silage. I'm not seeing a whole lot else that we would jump into until April here, the corn planting being one of those things. And like I said, I think that our grass fields are actually going to be better off getting harvested 1 month from now. They show us ready to harvest, but grass is one of those crops where when it's actually grown up, I think it looks a little bit fuller than this. So if we come out here, you can see that it's got a lot of sparse spots and stuff in it. And I think there's one more growth cycle here on our grass, although it is the same height as the other grass here, but I want to say there's another growth cycle. And so with that, I think the plan is going to be to just bump the time up here into April for next episode. We'll get the haying equipment moving, we'll get the corn planting equipment moving, and we'll get some corn planted pretty much everywhere on the farm that we've got room to do so. We do have the one crop here that we put into field 7 that's already growing. I think that's going to end up being our only cash crop. Every other field on the farm is going to be corn. We got plenty of hay. We'll have plenty of hay by the time we cut all of these fields and get it into storage. We got to get the corn moving. That's the only answer we've got right now. So we're going to be really doubling down on our forage harvesting operations in the summer here, because I will tell you folks, I am tired of buying silage bales. It's just not a fun process. I realize that this episode has been a little bit of a wonkier episode here, kind of following along with the previous one, and we haven't been keeping up with our schedule. So, well, we're going to get back into that here as we move forward on the farm, and hopefully get back to regular videos on both this series, and we've got some other stuff coming in the works. I did let slip in the previous episode that Tahiti County is going to be a dead map, and that is because of some technical difficulties. Every time that map saves, it actually deletes the save and crashes the game. And that's not due to the mods. I know there's some mods going around that delete saves and stuff. It's nothing like that. It's because I tried to swap out the precision farming because the one that I was using had a lot of issues, and that did not work out so well. And I messed around with it so much that even my backup save got wiped out. So that's my bad. I was not being careful enough. as I was trying to edit things to fix some of the issues we've been having with that map. So we'll get back to it here soon. I got some ideas. We'll see what's coming next, but we're gonna keep going on the Iowa Dairy series here on UMRV until we get all of our barns productive, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you have, hit that like button, helps me out a lot. That's all for today. Kedurk out.